Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tucker and Crowley Report. I'm joined again by Franklin Tucker, longtime editor of the Belmontonian, and I am Mike Crowley. So, in the news this week, first up, Franklin, let's talk about the Youth Risk Behavior Survey. It's a national survey that looks at mental health as well as substance use among middle schoolers and high schoolers. And we have the results from the last administration of this survey, which was, I believe, in April of 2023. Franklin, what can you tell us? I know that the results were presented at the last select board meeting.
Right, and what the survey came out is that it had several takeaways, you can say, from the survey, and one is that lifetime substance abuse is decreasing among all grades. That means whether it's alcohol or marijuana or vaping, that those are decreasing throughout the middle and high school.
And that's a good thing.
That's right. And it's and what the survey showed also is that among those students who did the survey, and it was a pretty good sampling of students, is that alcohol is consistently considered the least risky substance by all grades. And that's something that the person who managed the survey, Lisa Gibilario, has said is troubling in one way because alcohol is just as addictive as many other substances. It's much easier to get their for these young adults to get their hands on. So it's something that is still a little bit troubling. The current middle school students there's one really important and good result, and that is current middle school students are perceiving vaping as more risky than previous cohorts of middle school students. And that means that a lot of the national and local advice that they give children about vaping is getting through.
So Franklin, let's talk about the mental health aspects of this survey, because it looked at things like anxiety, depression, suicidal ideation, as well as making plans around suicide. What are the data telling us from this last administration of the survey?
Well, it says that students who are associated with increased substance use, which is alcohol, marijuana, and vaping, they're more likely to experience anxiety, depression, and considering suicide. Among groups such as genderqueer, Black, and multiracial students, they have higher rates of mental health substance use in all grades between 7 to 12. And the mental health problems among high school students remain fairly level over time. And that's something that at least, we've gone through the COVID times, and and this shows that there's some leveling off.
So things aren't getting worse, which is certainly not a bad thing. But perhaps we should remain concerned that we do have more than 100 kids in the middle and in high school who are even thinking about suicide.
That's right. That's something that Mark Palalo, who is one of the board members, said that this proves that putting aside money for mental health, whether it's getting a counselors or psychologists, it's well worth the money.
Yeah. So, all right. I believe that the Belmont Wellness Coalition plans to have discussions with the school district and the school administration here in Belmont about things that might be done in response to the survey. So we will have to see what happens with that. Mm-hmm. Next up, Franklin, let's talk about what's happening with the rink.
Well, we got the latest update from the building committee. And if you remember, Bob McLaughlin, who was a member of the middle and high school building committee,
Right.
had a very famous, a phrase that he loved using, and that was on time and on budget. Now, when it comes to the rink, it's certainly on budget. So, they've been actually getting, they've actually had some good.
There's been, good news in terms of being able to keep the project within the overall budget, right?
That's right. But it's not so much on terms of time. Apparently now, what was what the building committee wanted to see is that it wanted to only lose 1 year of playing time before the new rink was being constructed, and that was going to be in November of 24. Unfortunately, whether it has to do with
Construction, supply chains,
construction, or just the 6 months between the November when it was defeated in November, and then finally accepted in April. It had that second chance. That 6 months really pushed everything back to where it will now take 2 hockey seasons, let's say, winter seasons, before the rink is up and running. And that will be sometime May or June of 25.
All right. So it's still coming, but it's going to take a while.
That's right.
Franklin, do we want to talk about sports?
Yes, the winter sports season has started. Our hockey teams are in Watertown, so that's interesting enough. The girls' team is now a co-op team with Watertown. Watertown didn't have enough players to have a real contingent for a team, so they're hooking up with Belmont. They came out with a 3-0 win over Melrose, so that was a great turnaround. Girls basketball, they were really they started off very well this year, beating Melrose 68-25. So that looks like a team that's has a lot of good seniors, but a lot of freshmen and underclassmen who seem that they're ready to go this year. Boys basketball eked out a victory coming from behind against Melrose at home, and boys hockey, that's going to be it's a rebuilding year for boys hockey.
Okay.
So they have 1 tie and 1 loss this year. So we're beginning to see the scores come in. We'll have a little Christmas break, and then they'll be going to holiday tournaments, and be a lot of fun then.
All right. So a lot to look forward to on the sports scene, especially following the holidays. All right. Thank you, Franklin. You can find more of Franklin's reporting at belmontonian.com. Be sure to tune in next time, and we will see you then. Thank you so much.